Oh shit. Here we go again.
Hello and welcome out to this episode of Outbreak Gamers. I'm your host, WebDave, David Anthony, big guy behind the desk. That's me. And I'm here with Stubz Gaming. Stubz, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, thanks. I'm honoured to be invited on the show. I don't get many invites these days, but it's one of them things.
Well, we're gonna change all that. Once everybody
Yes,
gets to know you a little better,
I
they'll know
don't mind.
they want to have you in there. Oh, it's true, man. It's true. You're one of the good ones. So let's go from there. So how are you been doing today, man? You doing all right?
Yeah, we're on the bank holiday Monday in the UK because of obviously you see on the news, etc. The King's coronation, so he gave us Monday off work.
Long
So
live the king.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, an extra bank holiday this year we got. So,
Very
yeah,
nice.
long weekend.
Yep. Well, I work for a bank as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't.
Oh no!
Doesn't reflect.
Sorry. Right, in the UK,
Right.
everyone gets bank holiday
Bank
Monday
holidays.
off.
I got you.
It's just called bank holiday.
Right.
I don't
Right.
work for a bank. I work
No,
in
no, no.
pest
I
control.
get. I totally
Yeah,
get it. I totally get it. But I
yeah.
actually do work for a bank, and I don't
Oh,
get that
fair
day
enough.
off. Dang it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm
Fair
on
enough.
vacation, a stay vacation, doing a lot of work
Right.
around the house and stuff, get things done, and it just worked out because you are in the UK. There's a little bit of a time difference, so but that's
Yeah.
okay because, like I said, I would just want to get the community to know about one another and to know about more content creators because there's such a diversity of great content out there, and I think everybody
Definitely.
should know about it. And this is kind of my way of getting to let people to know about you, and then get your links and everything out there in the description so everybody can find out more about you. So with that
Thanks.
said, as
Yeah.
we get started, I guess I kind of like to start off with maybe what was your first job or education that you had, and it can be anything, doesn't have to be game related, just whatever job you started off with.
Well, education was something that I did.
Mhm.
I did go into obviously after I left school. We call it secondary school here. Some places call it high school. Where I live, it's secondary school, or it was anyway. Um, I did sound engineering in City and Guilds in sound engineering, MVQ in sound engineering. Complete waste of time because I did not use it. I went into what you would call a dead end job. I did. I went to dead end job. It was I worked in a factory where they made flat pack furniture. I worked there for about 16 years. Um, Boring as hell.
Yeah,
But now I work in the family business. I'm a pest controller now,
very
so
cool.
drive around, sorting people's rodent issues out, and in the summer wasps, etc.
Hmm.
And the idea is that when my dad retires or whatever, it I take over the firm, and eventually one day it will be passed down the family line, maybe generations.
Yeah, that's
But yeah,
nice.
you always get to see something new, interesting. It's never into one building. It's you got to drive to each job. It's
Yeah,
a lot better it is than what I was doing previously. A lot better it was. I never
yeah,
thought I was going to get a job like that. I thought I was always going to be in like factory jobs. Nothing wrong with factory jobs at all.
right.
Just after you know you stay there that long, and you like I was like basically part of the furniture. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was there that
Hmm.
long. I was. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I get that, and it can be grueling work and repetitive a lot too,
yeah,
where like
definitely.
you said, and i- pest control is something that everybody, I mean everybody, has to deal with at some time or another
Yeah,
in their life, and it's it's a vital job that's it's important to every community because I mean I've depending on what part of the country you're in, here in Florida, you might have a python issue or a gator issue.
yeah. In the
Yeah,
UK, we're not. I'm not actually trained for anything like that. Snakes, we just tell them to ring the RSPCA,
there you go.
things like that. And the gate, no, we're not trained for that. Rodents, and basically insects, bed bugs.
Hmm.
We don't get termites. That's an American thing. It's not a thing we get over here.
See, there you go. Wouldn't have known that.
There has been rare outbreaks, but it's not a thing that happens very often.
Wow.
It's a lot different in America. Pest control is a lot more diverse. There's more species, etc. There is over there.
And I would assume too, like you were saying, you get to go to different locations. So I mean, every place or every building or every business that you end up going into, I mean, it's got to be, you know, you don't know what you're walking into, and B, you know, they may have customized something in their house or living quarters that, you know, that makes it a challenge to you to get to where, you know, you get the critters out.
Yes, you are right there. Don't like them jobs.
Ones that are easy to spray and go, right?
Yeah. But
Imagine.
Yeah, it's fun anyway. It is. Despite, because people think, because the main work we do most of the year is like mice and rats, and everyone thinks you're a trained, you know, rodent killer, but you're not. All we do is put bait boxes down or whatever we need. We don't. People think we're going with hammers. Right, I'm going to kill that rodent. That's not what we do. We leave our equipment and come back weekly and solve the problem that way. In general, you know, but.
Don't come in with a Pied Piper and whistle them out. Exactly. Yeah.
No. Not everyone's a fan of us though, but you know, someone's got to do it.
Exactly.
You know?
I'm a fan because I think it's important. So.
Well, it's for like a lot of restaurants, takeaways, etc. They have to have it by law, or they're supposed to put it that way.
Right.
So people that don't have it end up getting in trouble. For the paperwork, basically. You know, and hygiene.
I have a friend that actually owns his own pest business as well.
Nice.
And he's every now and again I'll get the rundown of like, hey, there's a such and such new restaurant in town. I was like, oh really? He goes, yeah. He goes, don't eat there. Got it. Thanks, buddy. He's like, don't stay away. Okay, well, this place is good. This place is good. This place is good. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, because you know he knows what's what, kind of thing. So, but yeah, I get that, and my mother keeps having the same issue at her house. They have, what do you call it? It's a vent over the microwave, you know, that gets the smoke or whatever out. And but it doesn't, for some reason, when they built the house, it doesn't go all the way to exit through the roof. It exits into the attic.
Oh,
I know. So that's like, yeah, exactly.
Sounds like Cowboy Builder, basically.
Exactly. I think that maybe was an afterthought, and they and they put some kind of screen over it, but the birds will get in the attic, and then they'll knock that off, and then they'll get down in there, and then they can't get out because they can't fly because it's such a narrow area. And 3 times we've had to have him go down there, and luckily they've all they were still alive, but he has a special thing that actually lowers down a rope type thing to where he can just get them enough to where they'll grab onto it with their talons, and then he'll work them back up. As soon as they get to the top, they fly out the window and they're gone. But it's crazy. And he puts that screen back over, and he's taped it down and zip tied it, and they still seem to knock it off and get in there. I don't know why.
But they like try to steal next time and bolt into the wall. Probably,
exactly. But it still has to be ventilated, right?
That's true,
well, that'd be bad.
Yeah, that is true. You can steal ones with holes in,
right? Well, exactly. Good idea.
I don't know how it works because obviously the American market sells different stuff to the UK market.
Right.
It's different rules, etc. There is different countries. In your case, different states. Different states have different laws and rules. Over in the UK, it's basically overall law. In the UK, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different over in America. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. But if it comes down to it, if it wasn't for Great Britain, there wouldn't be an America. Let's just face that, you know. So just saying, that is definitely some truth to that. Well, let's turn the conversation to gaming. How did you get started in gaming? Or I guess maybe what was your first gaming experience? Was it arcades, computer, console?
Computers. I say computers, consoles. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is going to be one of the worst gaming histories ever. My memory's
That's
terrible.
All right.
But
do your best.
Sega Mega Drive was the first, I believe. Yeah, Sega Mega Drive, and I enjoyed the likes of Sonic the Mega Drive. Sonic the Hedgehog was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I always enjoyed playing that, and I still play it to this day. I've rebought an original Sega Mega Drive.
Nice.
I still play it the odd time. Streets of Rage is a good game as well on the Sega Mega Drive. I always remember like little games like Quackshot. Do you remember that Disney game?
Yeah, I do.
Quackshot. But yeah, as I say, my memory's terrible on the games, and also I remember playing Sega Dreamcast. My uncle's.
One of my favorite systems.
I've got one upstairs as well. I never had one as a kid. I used to play on his.
Mm-hmm.
I used to play a great game called Soul Calibur on there.
Same.
That was
one
of
my favorites
game.
of all time. Exactly.
It was a good game. So Mortal Kombat was good on the Mega Drive as well.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. But yeah, on the Sega Dreamcast we played, because I remember at the time it was kind of new things. Like we were playing against a tennis game, and we were playing against Americans on the internet. And at the time we thought it was revolutionary because they were typing, in the chat box, where you're from, and they were like, we were from England, and we thought it was revolutionary at the time because we were playing against Americans online.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
Then, wasn't it? I mean, kids growing up nowadays, you just can play against anyone. But back
exactly.
then, something new.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
That's one thing that the Dreamcast doesn't get enough credit for, because I know everyone praises the Xbox for being great and online, but I'll correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure the Sega Dreamcast was one of the first consoles online. But it never gets the credit. No, it doesn't, unfortunately. But yeah, play Quake on the Dreamcast as well.
I did too.
I don't remember which one. It's just called Quake. I can't remember.
Quake Tournament, I think, maybe.
That was it, probably. Unreal Quake Tournament, something like that.
Yeah. Quake. I'm mixing up the two because they both were on there. Unreal Tournament and then Quake something. Somebody in the chat will be like, "It's this dummy," but that's okay.
Yeah, my game history is always crap. Like when I do Stubzcast, I ask people the same thing. Most people can do a pretty good one, but I'm always poor at it. But no, and obviously after that, PS1 probably.
Mm-hmm.
The old GTA, back when the GTA was head height, you were looking down at the cars.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd do one now for fun. They wouldn't make one, would they? Top down.
Yep.
I can't see them making one. They'd make too much money out of GTA 5.
Right.
And if you're listening, BMG, it's your fault to keep making GTA 5.
Well, they said they are working on a 6.
Yeah,
they just don't know when it's ever going to show up.
I think they are actually working on it, but who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, I think on the PS1, I'm sure Tony played Tony Hawk's. I'm sure it's PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, Ridge Racer.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was PS.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
So I'm going to mention PS1 and PS2 because I'm not sure entirely which ones were which.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then, my memory's rubbish.
That's all right.
No, and then I didn't really do the PS3. I didn't game for a lot of years. You say when I used to go raving back in my younger days, drinking every week. I didn't really do it.
Yeah.
And then I returned, not at the 360 launch, years later. And I got into it because a guy at work said to me, young lad, and he says, "Yo, you want to play this game called Gears of War?" I says, "What's Gears of War then?"
Yeah.
"Oh, it's a shooting game." He says it's because at the time it was Gears of War 2. So I went and bought Gears of War 2. And obviously I worked back at Gears 2, then Gears 1, then Gears 3. Weird, I know. But it's my favourite gaming franchise. I talk about it too much, I get told off. But I play it once a day.
Nice.
I get my Microsoft Reward points in the PC.
Very cool.
You do. But yeah, the 360, I just basically like what we on the 360.
Yeah.
Gears of War games. I've never been a big Halo fan. I want to get into it. I recently played the first Halo 1,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm
Combat
playing
involved.
through Halo 2, but I've stopped for the time being. And then when I jumped from the 360, I should mention more games, but I just memory's rubbish.
That's okay.
I jumped to the PS4. But I tell you what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did get the Xbox One. Me and my mates were all hyped, to get the PS1. Not PS1, Xbox One. We were all excited getting the Xbox One. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then we all got the Xbox One, and there were no games because we all played COD. We basically all of us, 3 or 4 of us, in the end, we all sold our Xbox Ones and we all went to PS4. And I only returned to Xbox when I think Gears of War 4 had been out about 2 years. It had. That's when I returned. Then I've been on Xbox ever since. But I still play my PS4 as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Xbox One, obviously, Gears 4, Gears 5. The problem is, like, with my gamer score's terrible because for many years of the PS4 life cycle,
Mm-hmm.
I was just playing Destiny 1, you see, and that's all I'd used
Yep.
to play. So when people look at your gamer score or achievements, it's there ain't none. Because when you play multiplayer games, you don't really get a lot of gamer score.
Right.
I think I've got something like 30,000 gamer score on the Xbox, which
That's good.
some people got quite a lot. But I don't play so much multiplayer games now, but I do play it once a day because I don't know if you can get it in America. You've got Microsoft Rewards.
Mm-hmm.
But in the UK, if you play one multiplayer game a day on PC, you could end up racking in about 300 points a day. You can
That's awesome.
just by playing one multiplayer game. So I do it.
Heck yeah. I mean, that's great.
But yeah, that's pretty. And then in a minute, I enjoy because of the benefits of Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
I've delved into Yakuza, which I love Yakuza. Still not caught up right through to play the latest ones.
Right.
Yakuza 0 was amazing. I put in, I think it was 60 to 80 hours into that.
That's awesome.
I'm playing, because of my good friend VJ,
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing Persona 5 Royale, which is very good, but I'm 20 hours in, and that's a big game. So it allows, if someone's not played Game Pass, it allows you to try games you wouldn't normally buy as such, because you can take that risk and try it. You can. So it's allowed me to play different styles. I wouldn't dream of dropping 50 quid just to try a game. Sadly, Game Pass is good, but it's made like people like me and other gamers tighter because you think, and a lot of times people have this fear of, if I buy this, will it come to I've had it happen. You buy a game, the next month or a week later, it's announced for Game Pass. It drops.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have got fear that if they buy this game, it's going to drop in Game Pass.
Yep.
I don't blame people wanting to save money because in this climate, it's expensive, isn't it?
Right, it
Gaming
is.
and Game Pass makes it cheaper. I get Game Pass free still.
Nice.
Because remember years ago when you got that deal, can you remember where you chopped in all your gold and you got about 2 or 3 years worth of Game Pass?
Oh, yeah.
Well, because of Microsoft Rewards, I'm still ahead. I'm currently till August.
That's
I need
awesome.
another 5,000 points. I'll be good till November. So I'm ahead.
That's awesome.
For free.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you earned them, then you spend them any way you want to, and that's a win-win for you, man. That's awesome. That's smart.
No.
That's smart, man.
That's what I do. Sorry, my gaming history wasn't very good, but my memory's terrible. People will tell you.
That's all right. It's okay. It really is. And yeah, no, man, Game Pass is pretty amazing. But what you said, I bought the Guardians of the Galaxy,
Did
at the
you?
holiday because it was on sale for
Yeah.
Black Friday thing, and it was like a month and a half later. It's on Game Pass. I'm like, oh,
Damn.
but it
Yeah.
was all right. I traded it in and still put it toward another game. So
Fair enough. Well, at least you bought it physical then.
yeah, I did. Yep.
You can't trade that digital in. You know what I
No,
mean?
you can't. People want to, but they're not letting us do that yet.
Xbox One wanted you to, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone was like, no. Then swing it round to the Series X, and digital's a standard now.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? They're doing exactly what they want. Do you know what I mean? But apart from the fact you can't trade them in as such.
Right. Yeah, my library is becoming more and more digital. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't even buy physical anymore. I haven't done
Yeah.
for a long time. And it's been Game Pass that's pushed. I think, to be honest, I think Xbox is trying. They're probably not, but I think they probably are internally trying to push people to go full digital because it plays to their benefit because of Game Pass. Game Pass has made the switch for most people so easy. It has. That's just a theory. I don't really know.
No, I agree with you. I think you're onto something because it really does.
Play anywhere, and if you've got a decent internet, cloud as well. Which I'm skeptical about cloud gaming, but it's an option. I have got very good internet now, despite living in the UK. I've recently got 500 down, 500 up internet.
That's great. That's perfect.
But it is actually what it says on the tin. It doesn't drop really, so it's very good. But I'll have to test it out. I will. But I'm skeptical about a cloud gaming future. I know that's what Xbox is working towards, but I'm just skeptical. Maybe because I'm not, because it wouldn't bother so much younger gamers, because a lot of them play bloody Roblox, like my son, and Minecraft. It's all in the cloud anyway, isn't it? Really, to be honest, you download a little file and it's all in the cloud. But it's probably a generational thing. I'm 15 I'm 48 now, so next year December I'll be 40.
Yeah,
I will be.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably generational. I'm not so high on the cloud thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that box sitting there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm like you. I'm much older than you are.
Yeah, you don't look it.
Oh well, thank you. But yeah, actually, this year in August, I turn 58. So yeah, I know. I'm 7 years away from retirement.
You do not look that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yep. Yeah, that's but it's the truth. But yeah, no, my daughter who's 22, she's actually she still lives with us because it saves her some money. As she's saving up to get her own house. But yeah, so she and she's in the other room right now on her day off playing Minecraft. So yeah, with her friends, and she has been playing since she got up this morning at like 9. So
when Microsoft when Microsoft bought it back in the day, I never dreamed that Minecraft would still be going and the player base would be so massive.
Yep.
I never dreamed that they'd make new versions of Minecraft to sell. Like you've got, I haven't tried it yet. I've done Minecraft Legends. What's that other one? They made another one. Dungeons. I never dreamed of it. They'd be making new games for it. I didn't dream of it. I dreamed of the merchandise, etc. But it's massive. It's the one IP that Xbox has got right, totally and truly. It's a cash cow. It is. I never anticipated it would still be going to this day.
Yeah, and Roblox is another big one. That's
it's crazy how big it is because what I don't get, I don't know whether you know, is it's obviously it's on mobile PC, Xbox, but yet it's not on PS PlayStation, but it's not exclusive. It's just not on there.
Yeah.
It's worth is it like 30 or 40 billion on the stock market or something?
I think so.
But imagine if they back that on PlayStation. It'd be worth even more, surely.
Oh, I know. I
believe there must be something going on there, whether the people own it only like Xbox and tablets and PC. I don't know. There's no exclusive thing. I don't
no,
get
you're
it.
right. There's no exclusive, but with Sony to play on their ecosystem for quote unquote cross play, you have to pay a certain percentage to them.
That's probably it then. They don't want to pay the fee.
And if they don't have to pay the fee and they're making this kind of money, why bother?
That's it
Right?
then. Yeah, you cracked it. Yeah,
It could
that's
be. I mean, it's
right.
just a guess, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's
Sometimes
probably
Sony
it then.
shoots themselves in the foot, but yet they're the market leader
Yeah,
and they're selling consoles like crazy. So who knows?
exactly. Yeah, that's probably a very good theory. That is. I'd go with that. To be fair,
Oh,
I
cool.
would. I
All
would.
right, so let's kind of turn this just a little bit, because we still got some more topics to talk about for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess let's talk about how you got into podcasting.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
so I mean, like, did you were you watching YouTube and stuff, and then just kind of
So
come out, or did you just get the bug?
I can't remember. I can't remember. I remember what I used to watch. I used to watch Boom back in the day.
Hmm.
Boom was really small, as in you'd probably be talking 10, like to 50 people, maybe or more.
Hmm.
I used to watch him a lot, and I used to watch Crossfire X and that a lot years ago. I don't watch that anymore.
Hmm.
Years ago, and there was who was it else? There was a lot of podcasts. Trying to remember which ones were still about, because if you don't listen to me, forget, don't you? But I do remember listening to Boom,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I went on Booms actually
Yeah.
back in the
Nice.
day, and I didn't fare too well on Boom's show because it was a load of topics that I didn't know a great deal about,
It happens.
and
Hmm.
yeah, I didn't do too great there. But Boom, obviously, he's very nice. He just said I did really well. It was one of the first podcasts I went on. I don't know if the first podcast, because I went
Hmm.
on. Do you know UK Dazarus? I went on Daz's podcast too.
I've heard of them. I have not seen
But
it
but
though. But
he
yes.
but he doesn't do it anymore. He
Hmm.
doesn't. And then yeah, because it's like, I think there was some podcast Nukem was on as well. There
Hmm.
was, just can't pinpoint the podcast that they were all on at the time. A lot
Probably
of
put
them,
more.
a lot of them are disbanded. You see, a lot of the
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
podcasts have.
It does
Uh,
change. That's true.
it has, because TXL's been going a very long time. A lot,
Hmm.
and they've changed hands a few times, different hosts, etc. I didn't know Rand used to be on it.
Oh, isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it is. Back in the day, they all used to be on that. But yeah, it was like Boom's kind of show that I've seen,
Hmm.
and went on there, and I didn't start podcasting till, I can't give you exact year when I heard Boom
Well, that's all right.
actually, but I didn't start actually doing my own show until 2020, because I used to be part of a website called bg4ghub.com. I mean, if you click it in now or later on, it
Hmm.
is still there, but it's dormant.
Mm.
Kind of all broke. It was a guy called Mass Mayhem UK
Mm.
was the guy who ran it. I'm still friends with him to this day.
Cool.
And it was basically a site where people could make reviews, which I did a couple of. I was always part of BG4G, but I didn't really pull my weight in terms of producing content, if you know what I mean. I
Hmm.
wasn't very good at writing, really, to be honest. I did try, but I wasn't that great. But there was loads of people on there. There was Tom Wilde that became a big part of it. And he was actually the brainchild of actually the Stubzcast, the Content Creator Hub podcast, because
Hmm.
he said to me, he says, "You like podcasting? I've got an idea." He says, "I'll never do it, but he says it's probably not a new idea. But why don't you just like have conversations or interviews with various different content creators?
Hmm.
Use that as a podcast." And I went, that's an interesting idea. So I looked it up, and people had done it, obviously, but I have a way of doing it, and like your conversations are very different to mine. They
Hmm.
are different spin. And
Right.
the first one I ever did was with him. The reason it's on the channel again, because what happened was I deleted it because no, it wasn't my mistake. Because at the time he left the community and he wanted me to delete it. Luckily, I found a podcast recording of it. I managed to slap it back on YouTube. I did. But,
Nice.
it's back, but it's back in the community. But that's how it started, and I've interviewed near on 62 content creators. I have. I mean,
Awesome.
I enjoy doing it. You can let, although you'd wonder if I've interviewed that many people why my channel hasn't got higher subs, etc. But it's because I haven't implemented a lot of the advice given as such. And even though now I've now got a PC and internet connection capable of it, it's real life, kids, etc. That's the problem.
Yep.
Exactly as such. Learned a lot throughout doing the Stubzcast on how to kind of ask questions, but then have I basically got to the point where I don't actually need a script or a list of questions as such. I generally know how to ask branching, because you ask a question and you ask, if you can, you ask a branching question on top, and it becomes a lot better. Because I've on many podcasts I've got people to reveal stuff that they opened up to me, and some people have got like how should I put it, in a good way, not emotional about certain stories they've told. Not that I ever asked them to, because I never crossed the boundary. But sometimes people just open up about certain subjects. But yeah, it's an interesting process interviewing people, learning. Because I've also interviewed some indie developers as well. It's all learning experience. It is.
That's cool.
With it. How many episodes have you done of interviews? Have you been doing it a long time?
The actual interview part, the Outbreak Gamers, that is, I think you're going to be like 62. I think, really, honestly, you should be number 62 as far as the actual interviews that. And then I also
just said 62. Fair enough.
And that's pretty funny, isn't it? Yeah, because when you said that, I was kind of like, that's an interesting number.
To be fair though, with my show, I was really active because obviously it started during the year of the pandemic.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it's something like January or February time, and obviously even though it was about, I'm not going to say the word because of the YouTube video, whatever what was happening around the world, and then they shut down in the UK, and then it ramped up. Because it ramped up, I started doing it weekly, every Saturday.
Nice.
And in the end, stopped because it wasn't fair on the family, basically. But Stubzcast it's still about. It's not an active. I don't do it weekly or don't do it monthly. It's when I can do it. I'm trying to bring it back. But in last year, despite only doing 8 podcasts, on feeds it grew like 8% to a few new countries. So I do look back, and a lot of people are still watching the content, even on YouTube. So these interviews are quite interesting because people will go and listen to them. So it's that I'm not saying it's evergreen content, but a lot of people are watching the old stuff. I mean, on YouTube, I was looking at my analytics, and the highest one on YouTube I got was Dealer Gaming, 769 views, which is the highest one I've got, and Randall 4. 329 views. So
yeah, the good guys too. Both of them are amazing.
They are, but yeah, it's not all about the views. Just enjoy the conversation, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's a lot you can learn, and there's a lot other people can learn. Even if you don't implement what they say, other people could be listening and implement it themselves. It's because a lot of this content stuff, it's all about time and being able to do it. Because obviously, did you want me to talk about midweek gaming, which I used to do? Because that was
if you want, of course.
Show.
Yeah.
So I used to do midweek gaming, and I think I think it was after the PS. I'm just going to try and look it up quickly.
Sure, no worries.
I think it was after one of the shows on what's it called? PS5 launch. or it was one of them. I'll just go to the playlist quickly. Where are we? Midweek gaming. Right, so yes, that was it. So officially, I started doing it as a post show of the PS5 launch, a reveal. Sorry, and that's kind of how it started. And then Mr. Tushi, I don't know if you know Mr. Tushi Gaming and Removable Sanity. They asked me if I wanted to start a weekly show, so we started doing on weekday on Wednesdays at 9. No, it started out at 10 p.m. UK time, and then weeks went on. It grew. Despite me cancelling midweek gaming, it was a very popular podcast. Now, I'm not talking Boom's level of popular, but we used to get a good 20 to 25 people watching live.
Nice.
And it was a good show. We had VJ. I also got to know VJ. I got to know VJ through Boom because Boom was the one that kind of introduced VJ to the community, because believe it or not, he was emailing Boom's email address to ask him if he could come on the show. And that's how, through Mr. Tushi and Boom, that's how I got to know VJ. And VJ come on board, and then Cerebral Paul and Animated Evil came on board as well in the end. Right. But I enjoyed doing it, but with weekly podcast, towards the end, I had a few breaks and I struggled with doing it because family commitments, etc. But as a podcast, I learned a lot. But like, the problem was, because I had such a big panel when I had a guest on, I was losing control of the show as such. You know, by the time you've come round to the 5th or 6th person, they've kind of said my point already. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I definitely know what you mean. That's happened to me a lot. And
then obviously I really enjoyed it, but in the end I just cancelled it because it was getting to the point where they're nice lads and great bunch of guys, shout outs to them, but I wasn't actually enjoying it as such, because I felt like I was just a guy who said, what's your opinion? What's your opinion? And a lot of the time I was forgetting to say my own opinion.
Yep.
I was more of the talk show host, just passing the microphone.
Yeah.
And I ended it, and I made a lot of mistakes. I mean, when I ended it, I told them that I didn't want to do it anymore because I was fed up with podcasting, etc. But then I went in and did a different podcast with somebody else, you see, called Stasis Chat. And that went for 8 or 9 episodes, that did. Nice. Before we dumped that one.
Yeah.
But after Stasis Chat finished, I had a word with them because I think I held my hands up. I made a lot of mistakes, and they felt like I basically screwed them to go and do a different show, which it wasn't. It's just in my. But it's all good now. I've learned from it. I made mistakes. I apologized. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of them things. It's a learning process. I didn't see it at the time, if you know what I mean. Because I was addicted to podcasting, but I didn't want to keep doing midweek gaming. You know what I mean? But at the time, it was a very successful show, and a lot of people wondered why I gave it up. I just wasn't enjoying it no more. If you know what I mean. So I gave up podcasting for a while, and I started doing a podcast called Roundtable Gaming. Basically, it's kind of like a gaming conversation with friends. I did it once a month, and I didn't do many before I stopped. And eventually, I come back with a new name called A Gaming Conversation with Friends. Now, I didn't see it at the time, but BMG told me that he called it Roundtable Gaming 2.0. It was basically the same look, like a thumbnail.
Yeah.
As that, but I just renamed it. It was when VJ resurfaced.
Yeah.
Because he disappeared. He had a bit of a break for a year. When I finally got hold of VJ and started talking, I didn't push him into it. I just said, do you want to do a podcast? And we gave it a go, one shot at it, because everyone rushed to watch. A lot of people rushed to watch it. Oh, VJ's back. VJ's been tagged. So I watch it. He's a great guy and a friend, and a good friend. And yeah, that's kind of how we got to a gaming conversation with friends. It doesn't have topics as such. It doesn't follow the news. It's how the American expression, shoot the shit with your friends, basically. Oh,
I
sorry
like
about
it.
YouTube there.
Oh no, you're
Anyway,
fine. It's fine.
that's what it basically is. It's basically revolves around just conversation, and we try not to mention the like ABK etc. But obviously we had Luke Steele on last show, and we didn't really touch on it that much at all because it was more of us having a laugh. We were trying to disprove theories.
Nice.
Like, we seen on one podcast Luke was on that the King Charles could overthrow the CMA and overrule them. Somebody said it in the chat, and Luke was in hysterics. He's like, "This is not true." But that's what we're kind of doing. We weren't actually talking about it as such because I think, to be fair to Luke, he's probably fed up with talking about it. Do you know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah.
But in that show, we kind of just talked about various different subjects. And so with podcasting, it doesn't always have to be news based. I know that's what gets you to click in and stuff like that. But we try and talk about we go on some right random tangents. VJ tells some really good stories from his industry days.
Mm-hmm.
One week he was talking about some meetings he had in Japan with a Japanese development studio, and they all went out for a meal, and it was quite interesting. Sometimes get some good stories on that podcast from VJ. Story time with VJ.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, that's kind of a gaming conversation with friends. But a Stubzcast is running, but it's like it's infrequently. It's not, like you've probably got a set schedule for this interview base.
Pretty much.
I should have. I don't need to because consistency is king, and I'm well aware of that. I am, but yeah, podcasting wise, I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy looking at as in the YouTube analytics and like the Apple Podcast feed? Do you enjoy looking at that stuff, or do you find it boring, or because you can't get too wrapped up in the numbers, otherwise you won't bother? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do a little bit. I actually had a podcast, which on the same channel, and all that content's still here, for over 6 years. It was called Escape Pod. Was the show I did with a friend of mine that works also at the bank, and we still do it occasionally. We used to be consistently like once a month or so, and then now we're down to maybe 2 or 3 episodes a year, kind of thing. Do a lot of comic book interviews and stuff, and things like that. Oh, cool, cool. And and we still have some fun with it, but we also used to. Speaking of analytics, he was friends with a couple of I guess with area wrestlers, like local wrestlers, independent wrestlers, kind of thing. Nothing big, no WWE kind of stuff or nothing like that. But still put on shows that people would go watch and see, and would be fans of. And we have what's called a sports center here in Owensboro, and there's a couple of shows that we recorded there. And one of our biggest videos is it was a 2 female wrestlers.
Yeah.
And the one female wrestler had never been defeated. Well, this match that I caught, she lost. It was the first time she'd ever lost. Yeah. And that's the only video of that. And it's got like 68,000 views on the one video. I know. And I was like, that's cool.
Crazy.
But that's not the main thing that we do, but it's still up there in in content. I made a playlist for the wrestling part. Kind of thing. It's on our channel. Just because there's still people still every day there's still somebody that makes a comment about those videos. All of these are great. I'm like, cool, they're there. I'm not taking them down. So
don't keep them there. Evergreen content.
Exactly.
Cool,
and that's but yeah, you're right. There's like it's funny because like YouTube, we're just now close to getting, we're maybe like 170, 180 away from 1,000 subscribers. And
most people will surpass me.
But I mean, it took us a while. I mean, I've been doing it for 6 years, and then we're just at this. So But what's funny is on iTunes, because that's where we started. We doing the video for like the last 3 or 4 years. But before that, like 2 years before that, it was nothing but the iTunes that we put up podcasts on. And I mean, you talk about global. which I still to this day it blows me away when I look at the analytics on that, because there's some of our shows, even some of the shows that I do now, I put up, and like I get maybe like 200 or 300 views on YouTube, but there's one episode we did on YouTube, and it actually was when we did last year when sorry to get off on this tangent, but
No, you're fine. Enjoy it.
it's pretty crazy.
I enjoy it.
It's a show about the gun safety on movie sets, and I have a
Oh,
friend
I
that's
bet
in the
that blew up,
industry.
didn't it? Oh,
On YouTube, maybe 100 views, maybe.
yeah.
On iTunes, the last time I checked, it was actually over 350,000 listens, downloads.
Holy wow!
No, and I'm like, what? And it just happened to be topical hit, and it I guess it just fell in their algorithm to where it was.
YouTube algorithm probably killed it because you put
I
that word in.
don't know, probably.
But Apple won't bother them.
Yeah. So that's
Nice.
that's
Wow.
the wow. Okay, cool.
That is wow. Yes.
So
Definitely is.
but yeah, I better look at that every now and again and just kick back and be like, okay, cool. We're really popular in Venezuela and and Japan and China and wherever. I'm like, cool. Wherever. Peace.
Right.
So
It's interesting. That is. Yeah, thanks for that. It's interesting. That is. I don't think I've ever beat that record somehow, unless I blow up somehow.
But I mean, the rest of our videos were nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
No,
that particular one episode just happened to, I guess, hit its mark. And sometimes that's all it takes is one. But yeah, like I said, but the video version, it's still up on my channel right now. People can watch it. And it's actually a pretty good episode because I had a lot of independent, people that actually worked in the industry and been on movie sets and know what the gun laws are and stuff, and talk about their experiences with stuff and how strict they are. And it was a good episode, I thought. And that's pretty much one of those where it's like, it is what it is. I enjoyed it, and we'll do more like that. Things will pop up. So let's turn this now to I guess current gaming events, like gaming now, like what, as a gamer that you are, what's going on? I mean, wow, gaming is crazy. We're the ABK deal blocked and whatever. And then you not necessarily specifically want to talk about that, but I mean, just as far as like what fascinates you, or what do you, I guess, what interests you about the gaming industry right now?
Oh, it's always changing. It's like obviously you have got ABK deal, and if I put it's blocked, it's over, just like I'm saying now, you get loads of comments telling me I'm wrong and loads of theories as to why they could get around it, geo blocking them and everything. But I'll be honest, I think it's interesting, but I just think it's something that Microsoft should simply pay the $3 billion to Activision and walk away from, because to get around the CMA is very difficult, and even if you get an appeal doesn't mean a reversal.
You're right.
It's CMA. Look, I mean, obviously, loads of people have been to Luke about CMA lost this, overturned this, and not one of them has been under the Enterprise Act. We act for actual mergers. It was other stuff they shouldn't have been doing. It wasn't in reference to an actual merger like ABK. But in reality, would I have liked the ABK deal to pass? Yes, because as you know, I like Game Pass, so that means more games. In reality, yes. But from a Microsoft perspective, since the deal's been on, you haven't really seen. I know people like to see Phil in interviews. He's not really been around, has he?
Right.
Since ABK, there's not been a lot of big gaming news. Really, they've stemmed it, probably to make themselves look smaller. We ain't got many games, and so on. But yeah, I did want the deal to pass. I know many people in the community have told me that I thought it was going to get blocked. I didn't want it to get blocked because I know our UK can be very hard. They have been over harsh for a cloud market that I don't think many people in the UK actually do it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? We're a tiny country compared to the rest of the world. We are. But I do believe I kind of think they should walk away and probably go and buy up some small I can't give you names. Probably go and buy up some smaller developers,
Yes, I agree
development
with that.
studios, and do what PlayStation do in general. They buy up small development studios and get games that way. Apart from Bungie,
Right.
but Bungie wasn't big though, because I hear on a lot of podcasts, oh, why didn't that get blocked? And it's to do with revenue in the
Yep.
UK. If you have to hit 60 or 70 billion in revenue to be investigated by the CMA, if you don't hit that 70 million, sorry, I said 60 or 70 million, you don't get investigated. Bungie does not make that amount of revenue in the UK, so it flew past America too.
Yeah.
So that's why it's relatively a small deal, even though it's 3 billion. It's based on revenue, you see.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't see them buying Bungie, but that was more of a talent. It's a weird deal, that is, though, isn't it? If you look at it, it's It's not about Destiny. It's about, I believe, it's about talent, teaching PlayStation studios, etc., how to make games as a service games, and letting them use, because they've got a system, haven't they, for Destiny where it's on multiplat. I believe they'll have access to that system for any games they want as well.
Yes.
And they've also, because Bungie brought up, if PlayStation ever overstep a line, they've got a buyout clause, they can leave.
Yeah.
So I purely think it's a talent thing, and obviously they're going to profit from the money from the game, obviously,
right,
massively from Destiny. But that was interesting to see that. That's different for the games industry. That's not a thing even PlayStation normally do. They normally want full control over all the studios, and it doesn't appear to be the case. So that shows you the game industry is changing.
Yeah.
As such, I might be wrong. Just it's not a normal deal we do.
I agree with you because
they've been burned a lot. They went there. They were with Microsoft. They got burned. I don't quite know what happened, but they left and they gave them Halo. They did, and they went to Activision. They got burned. They paid to get out early.
Yep.
And now they're trying it for a third time. Let's see what happens. Let's see if they're leaving. Who knows?
Yeah, but it seems like they are doing it on their terms, like you said. So
I have to see. It seems to be.
So hopefully,
the industry just keeps changing because regardless of if ABK passes or somehow becomes a miracle and it gets reversed, the industry will be changed forever. It will either way because it was such a massive deal. Either way, no one. I don't think nobody would try a deal that big again.
Right.
But the landscape's different either way you look at it. But it's just, I think the future's exciting. There's probably games going to come that we never anticipated. Obviously, you've heard about Kojima working with Xbox. He'll make something weird. Could be cool. He makes weird games. He does. It's meant to be something to do with the cloud, isn't it? The rumor is
yes,
something to do with cloud. Maybe your mobile might be involved. He makes stuff like that, doesn't he?
Yeah,
very different because he's more of an artist, proper artist, and he will go right against the grain, even if he thinks somebody not like it. It's his artistic view. But that's another thing with gaming. You don't get, because have you listened to Cliff Basinski's book or read it yet?
Oh yes,
because he mentioned it. You don't get anymore the what he calls the rock star producers of gaming anymore. Because he said, like, he obviously, I think he'd come back to Gears in a heartbeat if he was asked, or some kind of role as such, like a advisor or something. He says if you read the way the industry is now, they don't want them, because he says, like, when you read, say, like an Xbox studio has got a game, they talk about it. It used to be you should hear about the top man at the top of the studio. Now it says from X team. It's not a message from the director of the studio. Like a director, like it would be Cliffy B, wouldn't it?
Right.
Or you do when it's Kojima, but what you're saying is it's a dying art now. The rock stars of gaming, they don't really have them, do they? Or they try not to.
Right.
Unless you kind of do in like Japanese development houses do. You know,
Mhm.
Japanese companies do, but in the West, it's kind of a dying art. It is now. I think it's because obviously they want the full team to get credit for a great game, whereas when you got a superstar, they can sometimes, even if it's deserved, the ego can get a little bit to them, maybe, and that's
Right.
why they say teams nowadays. I might be wrong. Have you noticed that when they say
I have.
they go for the team? You know,
Yeah, I agree with you. I do know what you're saying, and I do believe that you're onto something on that for sure.
it might be that, but yeah, the future of gaming is exciting. Hopefully, Xbox can fix all their issues
Hmm.
and start pumping out game after game after game. That's all we want at the end of the day. PlayStation's got great games, Nintendo has, and Xbox has. Okay,
Hmm.
the recent Redfall, I tried it. I didn't like it. I played it for 2 hours
Hmm.
with VJ and Removal Sanity, which he did not tell you on that podcast. It was me he was
He
playing
didn't.
with. No, he didn't even mention me once. I told him on the phone earlier.
That's
But
funny.
no, I wasn't a fan. It wasn't. I didn't. I wanted to like it, but what I seen in the trailers and the way it was advertised and marketed to us, it was something. I was playing a different game from what they marketed to us. But it was nice that Phil came out in the interview and admitted that basically that even though they knew that it was they were pumping it out on the PC at 60, and
Hmm.
he knew it was going to be 30. So it sounds like he knew for quite a while, but he owned up to it. But even with that, though, it still doesn't explain how bad that half the game's missing, in my opinion. A lot
Right.
of people enjoying it. You might be enjoying it. I mean, fair play to anyone that is. Just it's a game that I wanted to play with friends. It was fun. It was fun with friends, but it was more. I was like, because I said I wasn't bothered by 30 FPS
Hmm.
before. But when I played that game, I kind of was, because
Yeah.
it was quite stuttery and struggling in points.
Right.
It was, but yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Starfield
Me
as it's
too.
in Game Pass. I wouldn't say it's a game I'm hyped for because I'm not a Bethesda fan, but because it's part of Game Pass, might as well try it.
Exactly. Might as well.
Got nothing to lose. But yeah, no, I think the future of gaming's bright. Do you think the future of gaming's bright? It
I
looks it
do.
anyway. It's a hard industry. It's a hard industry. It
Yeah.
is. It
It's
is.
so big, so big. I mean, that's and the thing I like about it the most when you categorize it as gaming, that there's phone gaming,
Yeah, that's
mobile
the
gaming,
biggest one.
PC
Yeah.
gaming. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's just so broad. It's so in different ways that people can enjoy it and get something out of it. It definitely is truly changed the landscape of entertainment, and I
It's
love it.
massive. It's massive. It is. I mean, Microsoft never say it anymore. They don't dare, but they are
Right.
trying to reach that 4 billion gamers,
Oh
and they
yeah.
mean mobile, but they've stayed away from that comment for a long, long time, haven't they?
Yeah, they've
You know,
had for a while.
because it got used against them a lot, didn't it?
Yep.
Where's your 4 billion gamers?
They're coming.
They mean
Mm,
mobile. If they can get in mobile, it's obvious. That's
yeah.
the way. That's the way you get to the biggest numbers. I'm not saying they'll never reach that number. I just
Right.
think they meant the potential growth, the potential of the market, and everything gets turned against you. Now you got to be very careful what you say. You
Yes.
have if you're a big company, you have.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that for sure. But they definitely have the potential to reach those marks. And
Oh
if the ABK deal does pass,
yeah, if it
then
does,
they're on the way. And if it doesn't, then they've got enough on hand cash. I mean, 'cause they have 90 billion after the ABK purchase on hand that they can spend on to buy whatever else they need. So
don't
if
you
if
dare say Sega. I'm fed up with saying.
I know. But my thing is like, why buy one? Buy Sega, buy Square, buy Capcom. If you can get them,
I tell you
do it.
now, there's more chance of ABK passing than being able to buy Sega.
True, true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sega. Japanese companies are very protective
they are.
over who buys them. They
Yeah,
are. But Sega's growing. Sega's growing as a company.
Mm-hmm.
They just bought that. What's the game called? Angry Birds. Now, a lot of people are skeptical if they pay too much, but what people don't understand is, although Sega shut their arcades, in Japan, Sega still has theme parks.
Oh yeah,
and they can use all the characters in their theme parks,
mm-hmm.
and they could also use the mobile arm to make potentially Yakuza Mobile, Persona Mobile, all these other mobile games. They can expand. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think it was they overpaid, but they probably didn't overpay because they've got Sega theme parks and they've got this and that and the other. And it's them trying to get into the mobile business more because they have got mobile games.
Right.
Yeah, they've got Sonic and stuff. They're not great, but that's probably a bigger developer to try and get into that space.
Mm-hmm.
Sega are growing, but I know people love to talk about Xbox buying Sega.
Yeah. I know Everborn Saga does, that's for sure.
I know. I've heard him a few times. There's no wrong with it. I just don't think it's ever going to happen.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But gosh, that's
always dream.
Thing.
And people love to talk about what ifs, because if we didn't talk about what ifs sometimes, there wouldn't be enough to talk about.
Right.
It's all fun.
A lot of people never thought that Bethesda would happen, and here we are now.
That's true. I never dreamed of Bethesda happening, but it has, because my mate, do you know Centurion?
I've heard of him. Yes,
he loves Elder Scrolls Online. That's his game.
Mm-hmm.
He loves that. He does.
Yeah, I play it too. I like it as well. Not as much as I used to, but I do still dabble in it occasionally.
Fair enough. It's an odd game though, because I can't play. I can't actually. I said to him, "Can we play sometime?" He said, "No." Why? Oh, it's not that I don't want to play with you. It's just the way they've set the servers up. So he says if you obviously you're from the UK, you'll have to have an EU profile.
Oh yes.
EU profile can't pay with an American account.
That's
true. You'd have to make an American account yourself.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a strange system, isn't it?
It is.
But I suppose it's built that way. So there's no changing it now, is there? Do you know what I mean?
Probably not. Well, at least not for that game, but in future
ones, they might be able to say they're making. Because to be fair, from what I gather, because he tells me a lot about it, it's growing year on year every year.
Mm-hmm.
So if they did make a new version, they might implement it so everyone, you know what I mean, EU can play with America. They might make a new version, but it's a bit of an underrated cash cow from what I understand. It does make a lot of money for Bethesda or ZeniMax. Sorry, it's ZeniMax, but it's all. Keep correcting me. Oh, ZeniMax. I think Bethesda and ZeniMax. It's all the same thing. They bought them all together.
Yeah, I knew what you're talking about.
I get corrected all the time. But they bought them together, didn't they?
That's funny. Yep, they did.
You know, but yeah, it's all fun anyway. It
is. Well, Stubbs, as we start to wrap things up, I got one more question for you.
Yeah,
and this is what I ask everybody, and I'll tell you now, you can actually give me more than one answer because I've not had a person yet that's just given me one answer, but I'm just saying, but it's just fine.
Okay.
So, but it is, what game are you looking the most forward to that hasn't been released yet, but yet it's something we all know about? So it's
something you know about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does it have to be officially announced or teased?
Well, you could I'll give you that, but something is like if you have like any kind of insider knowledge, I don't want to get anybody in trouble. Is basically why I say that. So, but go ahead.
Gears of War collection.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's happening, but I would like it. Gears 1, Gears 2, and Gears 3.
Yeah. So like a remake or reimagining or an upgrade?
Just a remaster of the
UE5.
Yeah. But then again, you probably could bundle them all in, but they wouldn't want to make all of them again. Like 4 was made in Unreal 4.
Yeah.
And 5 was also made in that as well. So they wouldn't want to remake all of them, if you know what I mean. But they could put them in the same package, just not redo them.
Right.
That's one game I'm looking forward to. Now, Gears of War 6, has that officially been confirmed by the studio? Because I don't think it has.
I believe they said that they were putting resources toward that there was another game that they are kind of working on. So I actually do believe it's semi-official.
Semi-official, because I believe that was Mr. Jeff Grubb that said that, or somebody. It wasn't actually coalition. Because I brought it up on my pod once before. Because although it was said, it wasn't out of the coalition's mouth. But everyone knows they're working on it.
Got to be.
You know what I mean? You've got to be working on it. Gears 6. And now I want it to be called Gears of War 6 because Rod Ferguson's gone. Because the trademark never changed.
Right.
Always been called Gears of War. Because everyone panicked and freaked out when the trademark got updated.
Yeah.
And it said Gears of War. But it wasn't that. It's what they were doing was every X amount of years you have to update your trademark to make sure you own it.
Right.
And they added board games and card games to the trademark. Well, they've I think it's obviously either released or it's releasing. They've got a Gears of War board game now, a card game. Sorry, they have.
Cool.
It's been released, but yeah, Gears of War definitely. What else we got? Next Halo.
Oh,
that was
that's up in the future. It's probably coming someday.
In the future. What else we got? Maybe Hellblade 2, but I've got to complete Hellblade 1.
Oh, okay.
I haven't completed it. It's quite difficult. I find it difficult anyway. I have a lot of these. When you get puzzles, I get stuck on them. I'd have to cheat in some bits.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You can do definitely a little YouTube search and search boss and Hellblade, and they'll talk you right through it.
Exactly. There's everything for that. But I mean, Fable would be nice to see, but I haven't got any desires it's going to come out in the next. I think you might see it at the end of the generation. I don't think there's much coming out from that. I mean, because they did say, or some rumor went, there's a game that's coming, but it won't be coming for a long time. And I think they were talking about Fable, if you ask me.
Could be,
but I don't know. There's not loads I'm looking forward to. The problem is it's because we haven't. It's like even like I was poll earlier. I said I wasn't really looking forward to Avowed and Hellblade, but the problem is because a lot of the games that they're working on, you haven't really seen much to to get excited for.
Right.
So until the June showcase, I mean, if you ask me after the June showcase, I might tell you, "Oh, got this, and this."
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I tell you what, if anything Gears related gets announced, you'll hear me on Twitter. You'll hear me.
I will hear that for sure. Screaming through the ether.
Yeah, exactly. Because, but because a lot of these games they list, there's not much on it. There's like little. The trailers ain't very long, and they're just like the little vertical slices.
Yeah.
And some of them are just CGI trailers. It's difficult to get hyped. It is as such, but yeah, I'm not. Spider-Man 2's coming out this year, isn't it? So I haven't played Spider-Man 1. I've got a complete Spider-Man 1. Because this PS4 controller.
Yeah.
Right. I might try and play it on PC on my Xbox controller. I might do that instead and buy it on PC.
There you go.
I've got big hands. And when I play it on the PS4, for some reason, bloody hands and wrists start hurting when I try and play Spider-Man. But the other games, like a great game, Horizon Zero Dawn, no problem. I'm currently playing through Horizon Forbidden West as well, trying to that and Persona. And I've got no issues. But on that Spider-Man game, because of the way you play the game, I'm no good with it. Maybe I need the DualSense probably. But I've only got a PS4.
Right.
But not PS5. I do want one. But play this PC off first.
There you go.
£1,000 PC.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Oh, goodness. Stubbs,
but yeah,
man, thank you so much for being on today. I hope you had as much fun as I did because I enjoyed talking to you and getting to know you, man.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure getting to know you. It was. I've seen you about. I have. Just never. Obviously, I reached out to him. I checked out Luke Steele's interview. I said, "You do good work." Then you were like, "Do you want to come on?" I'm like, nah, you don't want me on. No one wants me on. You don't want me on. Like, yeah, it's been fun.
Now you've been on, and see now you have something to load over VJ because VJ's never been on. So there you go. Not on this.
Well, you will struggle because I've tried to get VJ on mine, and I speak to VJ a lot on the phone and stuff, and he won't come on for me. But if you can do it, well done.
Well, I
done.
don't like I said, I don't know I have, but at least that's something you can say that
Yeah,
you've been on my program and he
yeah,
hasn't. See, so there you
yeah.
go.
He may do because he's not. If you keep it to gaming related, because he's not a content creator, see, that's why
Right?
he won't come on mine. Yours is more diverse
Yeah,
because, as such,
I like to know about the
that's
people.
probably yeah. But that's probably why, because he doesn't think he's a content creator. That's why he wouldn't come on. But you can try. Even VJ might come on.
You just never
I'll,
know.
I'll tell him to listen. I will.
There, tell him to listen to this one for sure.
I definitely will.
Exactly.
Whenever it's released, I will. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
let you know that here in a few minutes as we wrap things up.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me on. It was good of
You're
you.
most welcome, Stubbs. If you don't mind, tell everybody where they can find you at.
Yeah, you can find me on at Stubz Gaming on Twitter, at Stubz Gaming on YouTube, and at Stubzcast on Twitter. I'm not going to read the one. I'm not going to read the other one. It's too
That's okay.
difficult.
That's
And
all right.
also,
I'll have it in the description link.
yeah, basically, just go in the description. You'll find all the details. You will.
There
And
you
if
go.
you want to go on Spotify, Apple, just type in Stubzcast Content Creator Podcast or a gaming conversation with friends. The next one, if you want to check it out,
Yeah.
will be on Monday the 15th
Oh,
at
all right.
9 p.m. BST. So
I will check that out for sure.
No idea what we're doing yet. We'll work it out. Definitely. But thanks
Well, I
for
look
inviting
forward
me
to
on.
it. Well, you are most welcome, and thank you very much for being here, man. I appreciate it, and thanks to everybody for listening to us. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, and on Stubbs channel too. Like I said, all the links, all his information will be below. So click on it, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so that you know when he does drop a show, you'll know it's there, and you can go enjoy the content just like I do. And thanks you to everybody for being here on Outbreak Gamers.
Game over.